Tai Hoi is a director of Hoi Construction, a major Chinese company which specializes in building hydroelectric plants. Hoi Construction has asked Stephen Masters, a leading Hong Kong headhunter, to help them to find two highly specialized mechanical engineers. 4 candidates with excellent qualifications and highly relevant experience have been pre-selected by Stephen Masters. These candidates from all over Europe have been invited to a session of interviews and psychometric testing at a leading London hotel.
Okay, well, we're very glad to welcome you to this interview, Katie. I wonder if we could start by asking you to tell us a little about yourself and why you've applied for this job.
I qualified as a mechanical engineer 8 years ago. Since then, I've worked on a series of contracts, most of them involving hydroelectric plants in South America and the Middle East.
I worked for a large German construction company for about 10 years. While I was there, I worked on many different projects, chemical plants, oil refineries, and a number of energy-producing plants.
I spent the early part of my career working for the French government as an inspector of energy-producing plants in France and in Africa. About 5 years ago, I decided to become a consultant mechanical engineer.
I've spent several years on research projects in universities, mainly in Geneva and Cambridge. But I've also got extensive experience of working on major construction projects in Europe, Russia, and China.
I've traveled a great deal. I've been to China and Hong Kong several times. I worked briefly in Hong Kong, and I must say I enjoyed my time there very much.
I've just finished a 3-year contract in Brazil. It was no problem. I like the challenge of working in different cultures.
Most of my work for the last 5 or 6 years has been abroad. I have not worked in China, though. Not yet.
I've worked in a number of different countries, and I always enjoyed it. I'm quite good at languages. I speak German, English, Swedish, and some Chinese.
This round of interviews was followed by a series of psychometric tests. These tests were designed to give the interviewers even more insight into the personalities of the candidates.
Okay, we've finished the formal part of today's proceedings. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, or at least found it stimulating. We'll finish shortly, but first I'd like to spend a few moments talking about the cultural considerations of working in China. Unless, of course, there are any other questions. One of the key things to bear in mind when you're working or doing business in China is that everything is based on personal trust and respect. This means that there are certain very clear do's and don'ts. Punctuality, for instance, is very important in business. To be late for a meeting indicates a lack of respect for your colleagues. And when you offer a Chinese colleague a gift, they may well refuse it several times. This doesn't necessarily mean they don't want it. It's simply a custom, a way of behaving politely.
After a day of interviews, there's time to relax.
I thought I'd have one of those sandwiches, please.
Help yourself.
Would you like one?
No, no thanks.
I wonder what they're saying about us.
It'd be good to be a fly on the wall.
Oh, perhaps not.
I really hope I get this job. It's the kind of huge project I've always wanted to work on. I love the idea of living in China. You've worked there, haven't you?
Once, for about 6 months.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, of course. It's like when you work anywhere abroad. There are certain things you just have to get used to.
We'll just have to take a look at the psychometric testing.
Is this your first visit to London?
No, I come here quite often to visit friends. Are you staying in the hotel?
Yes.
Is it comfortable?
It's very good.
What do you think of this job?
Sounds very interesting to me. I'd love to spend some time in China.
Oh, me too.
We are all staying in the hotel. Perhaps we could have dinner tonight.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
We could eat here, but it looks expensive.
And stuffy. I know a good restaurant not far from here. It serves wonderful French food.
Give him a job. Yeah.
Xin chào chị. Mua mai chưa?